What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie here to give you guys my 2023 AEW Full Gear predictions. But before I do that, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO. And of course, you already know, the grind is real. And this Saturday for Full Gear, if you're looking for somebody to watch the show with, I will be live here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel doing a watch along to AEW Full Gear. And I do want to give you guys heads up that Survivor Series next Saturday, unfortunately, I will not be a part of the live watch along. My co-host on the We Are Wrestling podcast, Ben, will be here on the channel doing the live watch along. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out in Brooklyn watching my team play the Miami Heat with some of my basketball friends. So I will be here though on Saturday for Full Gear. But before I give you guys my predictions, I do want to give you guys my thoughts on the build-up leading to Full Gear. And I definitely think that this card could have been a little bit better, but when it comes to a pay-per-view, AEW always hits a grand slam. They always hit it out of the park, and I am not expecting any less. I think that a lot of these matches on the card definitely have the potential of being a match of the night. And I definitely think that the storylines could have been a little bit better leading to the events, just like, the last couple pay-per-views for AEW. But I definitely think that these matches do make sense, and honestly, I'm looking forward to AEW Full Gear. So, with that being said, let's dive into the predictions for AEW Full Gear 2023. And starting things off, we have a tag team match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. MJF and a mystery partner will be facing the Guns, the Ass Boys, Austin and Colton Gunn. And I think that the mystery, partner for MJF is going to be Samoa Joe. I feel like it's, the most obvious partner for MJF because I feel like it wouldn't make sense for, Samoa Joe these past couple weeks, trying to, have MJF's back and MJF not taking it. And then, he has a match against the Guns for the titles. He's going to need somebody, by his corner. And it only makes sense that Samoa Joe is that guy. So I definitely think that, Samoa Joe will be the mystery partner. And with the Guns, I feel like they should win this match only because MJF, I'd rather have him, focusing on the AEW World Championship. It doesn't make sense that he's, still holding these tag titles without his best friend Adam Cole, even though he's on the sidelines injured right now. I'd rather have MJF focus on the main event picture because I think him, holding a championship that doesn't really hold that much value right now, I think does take a little bit of his credibility away for being the world champion. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I can't stand the Ring of Honor championships being on AEW TV, and this is why I'm not really that excited for this match. I feel like Ring of Honor should be AEW's NXT. I think that Ring of Honor would do so much better if it was a developmental, program where, you put more inexperienced, wrestlers and guys and girls that aren't really being used on TV and, see what works, see what doesn't work, and develop your talent. AEW likes to throw their wrestlers right into the deep end, and I think that, Ring of Honor being a developmental, system, I think that would be a great way for a lot of, guys that they're signing in the independent circuit to, get used to wrestling on television. And that's why I really don't care for the Ring of Honor, Tag Team Championships or any of the other titles. Hell, Samoa Joe even vacated the Ring of Honor Championship. So if he is the mystery partner, what sense does that make? I don't know. I'm not excited for this. And I do think that the Guns will win the Ring of Honor tag titles. I think that MJF, holding them without Adam Cole, it just doesn't make any more sense. But moving on now to the next match on the card, we have a singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Shida will be defending her title against Timeless Toni Storm. And I gotta say, Toni Storm, I've been really impressed with this whole new character. I think that she's absolutely killing it right now, and honestly, I think that this is some of the best work that she's done. I love that they got Luther with her, as her butler, and I love the whole black and white, thing that she's doing. It's very entertaining. And, Shida, I think she's very talented, but she shouldn't be, in the AEW Women's World Championship picture. I think that she's more of a transitional champion, unfortunately. And I feel like Toni Storm, she's going to win the championship against her. Right now, Toni Storm is very hot, and I don't know. I think that right now, when, somebody's got more momentum than the other person, it only makes sense that, they get the championship. And I'd rather have Shida, compete for the AEW TBS championship than the world title. I feel like the world title needs to be, more established, bigger stars in the women's division. But I definitely think that we're getting a new AEW Women's World Champion, Toni Storm, 3-time. Moving on now to the next match we have here. We have a 6-man tag team match. Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland with Ric Flair versus Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, the storyline has been pretty good, but I'd rather Adam Copeland wrestle in a singles match for his first pay-per-view match than, a random 6-man tag match. But I understand. I feel like, creatively, AEW doesn't want to have Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage just yet. They want more time to build the storyline because obviously there's history there with both guys. They both came up together in the wrestling business, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So they definitely want to give it some time. I will say this. I do love that Nick Wayne, is in this match because he's very young. I think that he's a very promising, star, and I really like Nick Wayne as a heel. I think the work that he's doing right now is pretty good, having Christian as a mentor, and, some of the segments that they've done, with Nick Wayne's mom has been, very entertaining, and it does make sense, this whole match does make sense, because Darby Allin and Sting have been feuding with Christian Cage, and, Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus, so definitely makes sense, and I think that this is going to be a fun match, and this one's tough, because I think that it can go either way, and I do think Adam Copeland, Darby Allin, and Sting are going to beat Christian Cage, and I think that Adam's going to pin Christian, and that's what's going to lead to, the next chapter in the Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland storyline. So I'm going to have to go with the babyfaces. Moving on now to the next match we have here. We have a singles match for the AEW International Championship. Orange Cassidy will be defending the championship against Jon Moxley. And I think that this is going to be a banger. At WrestleDream, they had a great main event match, which honestly, it was really cool to see somebody new like Orange Cassidy getting that opportunity. And he's had a really good year in AEW this year. And honestly, I'm really enjoying this feud with Cassidy and Moxley. At WrestleDream, Moxley did defeat Cassidy, but due to, getting injured, he ended up losing the title to Rey Fenix, and Rey Fenix ended up losing it back to Orange Cassidy. And now, we're getting the rematch, and I definitely think that this is going to be a pretty good match. I wish we had a stipulation in there, but I already know we do have some stipulations already happening throughout the night. I definitely think that this is going to be a good one, and I think that Cassidy will retain the International Championship against Moxley. Moving on now to the next match we have here. We have a Texas Death Match. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. And let me say this. Putting these two together in a feud was a brilliant booking decision. I felt like Swerve and, Adam Page, they both were, lost in the shuffle when it, came to, storylines. And honestly, putting these two against each other and creating this compelling rivalry, having Swerve, go to Hangman's house and then having Hangman, pretty much call, Swerve a piece of shit for not taking care of, his ex-wife and his kids not talking to him. This is storytelling. And to me, that is pro wrestling. And honestly, this is going to be probably, besides the main event, the match that I'm looking forward to the most. This is the Hangman Adam Page I want to see on my TV every Wednesday on Dynamite. That promo he cut on the Go Home episode was the chef's kiss. Absolutely perfect. I love when Hangman has an edge to him, and I love when Hangman, pretty much cowboy shit. And that is when Hangman is a main event guy. But when he loses that aggression, he just gets lost in the shuffle and he goes back to being a mid-card talent. There's a reason why a couple years ago in AEW, at Full Gear, Hangman Adam Page was so fucking over. Because he had that aggression, he had that edge against, Kenny Omega. The story made sense, and that's what I like about this storyline, is that there's an edge to Hangman, and that is when we get the best version of Adam Page. Also, Swerve hasn't really had, a crazy storyline yet in AEW. I wanted him to with Keith Lee, but then they just completely forgot about that. And I think that, Swerve and Hangman, this is such an underrated feud, something that if you're not paying attention to AEW, I recommend you to go, check out these, back and forth, promos between each other. It's been pure entertainment. And this match, I do have Hangman Adam Page winning because at Wrestle Dream, Swerve, beat Hangman. I think Hangman is going to win this match, but it's not going to be the end of their feud. I think that AEW World's End, we're going to get, pretty much the rubber match between Swerve and Adam. But I do have Hangman winning this match. Moving on now to the next match we have here on the card. We have a tag team match. If the Golden Jets win, they will get the Young Bucks AEW World Tag Team Championship opportunity. But if the Young Bucks win, the Golden Jets must disband as a team. And we have the Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. And I'm going to say this match to me doesn't make sense at all. I really don't understand why we're doing this when, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, they're feuding with the Don Callis family. So why are we throwing them into like a number one contenders match, for an AEW World Tag Team Championship? To me, it doesn't make sense at all. I understand, why the Young Bucks, want to face them, because obviously, they feel some type of way towards Chris Jericho. That makes sense, and they're jealous that Omega, spending more time with Chris than he is with them. But they're already feuding with the Callis family, and I rather had, something with the Callis family than, just a tag team match. I will say, I am enjoying the pair with, Kenny and Jericho. It is cool to see them, as a tag team, because they have been, bitter rivals, throughout, AEW and even, New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it is cool to see the two together, but I think that, I think that the Young Bucks are going to beat the Golden Jets, and I think that Nick and Matt Jackson, they're going to turn on Kenny Omega, and they're going to join the Don Callis family. and that is, how Don Callis is going to screw Kenny Omega and Jericho yet again, because they're both going to have to split up just when they became a tag team, which is, unfortunate. The next match on the card, we have a triple threat match for the AEW TBS Championship. Kris Statlander will be defending her title against Julia Hart versus Sky Blue. And honestly, I'm really excited for this three-way match. I think that the storyline has been solid. Honestly, I'm looking forward to this women's match a little bit more than the Shida and the Toni Storm match, because I think that, there's more outcomes that can come out of this, three-way match. Because honestly, I could see Sky Blue winning the championship. I could see Julia Hart winning the championship. And, Kris Statlander, she has been a great champion as well. And honestly, I love that, all three women that are in this match are all homegrown AEW talent. And it just shows how much, the women's division has, evolved in AEW. I think they are still, a couple big stars away from having like a legitimate, women's division. But they definitely have a lot of, solid, stars. But unfortunately, and this is tough because I do have a soft spot for Kris Statlander. I got to watch her, grow in the independent, area. I got to watch her grow in the indies around, my area. And I don't want her to lose the championship yet, but I feel like she deserves so much more. I feel like she should be the AEW Women's World Champion. So, I am going to say that Julia Hart is going to win the championship. And at Wrestle Dream, I actually, wanted Julia Hart to win, but this definitely does make sense here to give her the title. And I feel like she deserves it. She has improved drastically. And Sky Blue has also, improved as well. But Julia Hart, I think, adding that championship to her will, add so much more to this division. The next match we have is a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Ricky Starks and Big Bill will be defending their titles against Rush, Jurassico versus FTR versus Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King. And honestly, this match is very, very, very unpredictable because Ricky Starks and Big Bill winning the titles was very out of the ordinary, and it was definitely out of the blue. Nobody was expecting that to happen. FTR had a great tag team title run, and it just didn't make sense. It was just, a random booking decision. And out of all the times that they changed the titles, they did it at SummerSlam when SummerSlam was on. Doesn't make any sense to me, but that's why I think that this match, can go either way. I can definitely see FTR winning the titles back. But honestly, I want Malachi and Brody King to win the titles, and I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with Kings of the Black Throne. We're getting new tag champs. Ricky Starks, he had a lot of momentum, and they kind of took it away by giving him, the tag team titles with Big Bill. Ricky should be, competing against some of, the top AEW stars. But now, let's get into the main event. We have a singles match for the AEW World Championship. MJF will be defending the title against Jay White. And I think that this storyline has been fantastic. And anything MJF does is gold. And honestly, Jay White, when he first came to AEW, I did have my doubts because it seemed like they had no direction for him. But as soon as AEW Collision became a thing, we got the Bullet Club Gold, which I think has been amazing for Jay White, Juice Robinson, and the Guns. And I think him being in this, feud with MJF is showing that he is a legitimate top guy. And I definitely see Jay White being a future AEW champion, but I definitely think that MJF is not losing this title. Not yet. I feel like MJF will be going into AEW's World's End as the champion in his hometown, Long Island, New York, especially with, the whole free agency thing happening the bidding war of 2024. There's no way Jay White is taking the championship off of MJF. So I have, my boy Maxwell Jacob Freeman retaining the championship. And this match is going to be an absolute classic. And I think that we are going to get the reveal of the Devil. And I think that the Devil is Kyle O'Reilly. That's who I think it is. Because if you think about it, Adam Cole, is MJF's buddy. Roderick Strong has been involved here, and he's the jealous friend. And we haven't heard anything from Kyle O'Reilly. It has been under the radar, and what better way to bring him back than put him in the main event picture right away? And we all know Kyle O'Reilly can hold his own. So I think that he is the guy that will be under that mask. And finally, we have a big, announcement in AEW with a signing. I do think that it will be Mercedes Mone. I think that she will be all elite. But guys, let me know in the comment section below your predictions for AEW Full Gear. Remember, I will be live here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel this Saturday for AEW Full Gear. So if you're looking for somebody to watch the show with, I will be watching it live. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow me over on my social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.